Let's be clear, this isn't about one bad boss or one single corrupt company. This is about a playbook, a set of rules that have been coded into the modern workplace, and they're running on a loop pretty much everywhere. We're not here to rant. We're here to reveal the architecture. You know that quiet, nagging feeling? The one that suggests if your job, maybe even your whole department, just vanished overnight, the world would probably keep spinning just fine? You're not imagining it. That feeling is becoming a design feature of work itself. So, a YouGov poll found that 37% of British workers believe their job makes no meaningful contribution to the world. Let that sink in. More than a third of the workforce is treating their actual lives for a role they privately feel is pointless. And this isn't some epidemic of self-doubt. It's a clear pattern in the data. But at the very same time, there's the official story, right? The one that companies tell us and themselves about what all this work is actually for. You know these words. You've seen them on posters, you've heard them in the all-hands meetings. They'll call it a family right up until the quarterly report drops. They'll talk about the mission while your team gets smaller. Culture is the story they tell you while they're cutting the budget. So what gives? If the story is all about mission and changing the world, why do so many people feel like their work is meaningless? Well, that gap between the words and the reality, it's not an error. It's where the real system operates. It's where the math takes over. The late anthropologist David Graeber actually gave this feeling a name: bullshit jobs. Now, that term isn't an insult to the worker. It's a technical diagnosis of the work itself. He argued that technology really should have led to a 15-hour workweek by now, but instead it was used to create this whole ecosystem of pointless employment. Graeber even sorted this work into 5 main categories. You've got flunkies, who basically exist to make someone else look important; goons, who are paid to mislead or strong-arm people; duct tapers, who spend all their time patching problems the system refuses to actually fix; box tickers, who generate paperwork so an organization can claim it's doing something it really isn't; and finally, taskmasters, who manage people who don't even need managing. See? These aren't glitches. They are roles created by the system. So how did we get here? This system of meaningless work and, frankly, disposable loyalty didn't just pop up overnight. It was a slow, deliberate rewiring of the contract between the people who do the work and the people who own the company. Back in the mid-20th century, the deal was pretty straightforward. You gave your loyalty, you got security in return. But by the late 20th century, the game changed. The main goal became maximizing shareholder value, above all else. In layoffs, they stopped being a last resort for a crisis and became a standard tool to boost a quarterly stock price. You were no longer a long-term asset. You became a line item on a spreadsheet. And this created 2 parallel narratives that we all live in today. There's the story, which is all about culture and investing in people. And then there's the reality, the math, which shows that labor is the first and the easiest cost to cut when the numbers need to look better. This created a permanent gap between what's said and what's actually done. This pressure from the top creates impossible situations. A manager at BP, speaking before the Deepwater Horizon disaster, described the constant demand to cut costs as mind-numbing and terrifying. And here's the really interesting part. Nobody explicitly says, hey, go break the rules. The system just sets goals that are impossible to meet without breaking them. You see this pattern across all the sources. Wells Fargo set a sales target of 8 products per customer. That's 4 times the industry average. It's not possible. BP ordered 25% budget cuts while drilling in riskier and riskier environments. Volkswagen aimed to dominate the market with a clean diesel technology it knew it couldn't actually build. The math was broken from the very start. So what happens when you give an entire organization a goal that can't be achieved ethically? Well, a very specific process kicks in. Sociologist Diane Vaughan, who studied the NASA Challenger disaster, she called it the normalization of deviance. And it works like this. First, someone bends a rule to hit a number. Instead of a red flag going up, it gets reframed as an acceptable risk. So now this new, lower standard, that's the baseline. Then the process just repeats itself, step by quiet step, until breaking the rules isn't the exception anymore. It's just how the work gets done. In practice, this looks like not replacing corroded pipes at BP because it would, quote, bank the $150,000 in savings right now. It looks like opening millions of fraudulent accounts at Wells Fargo. It looks like installing software to cheat emissions tests in 11 million Volkswagen cars. This isn't a glitch, it's the feature. And when the system inevitably fails, the accountability is completely lopsided. The blame gets directed downwards at a few bad apples, at subcontractors, at the low-level employees. Meanwhile, the executives who designed the whole incentive structure, they often walk away with bonuses. You show up early, they show you the door. And leadership will consistently deny that the problem is structural. An internal email from the Wells Fargo CEO claimed the fraud was not systemic, but just a part of life. By framing a predictable outcome of the system as an individual moral failure, the architecture itself gets protected. This is the core of it, right here. The pressure, the impossible goals, the one-way loyalty, none of it is personal. It's structural. Nobody needs to be evil. They just need a spreadsheet that rewards firing you. So here's the crucial point. We have to stop thinking of this system as broken. A broken system produces random, unpredictable results. This system produces predictable results over and over again. It is calibrated by design to extract more value from labor than it returns. It is working exactly as intended.
And that leads to a final, pretty uncomfortable question. If the whole goal is extraction and people are just a cost on a spreadsheet, then what was the role of the employee ever supposed to be?
The pattern across all these sources doesn't suggest malice or hatred. That would almost be too personal. Instead, it suggests something much, much colder. The worker wasn't the point. Profit, growth, shareholder value, that was the point. The worker was just the resource required to get there. And like any resource, the goal is always to get the most out of it for the lowest possible cost.